All right, welcome to Whyspace.
Hey guys.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday.
It's Tuesday when you're hearing it.
Oh, that's right. Okay, off to a smashing start. Happy Tuesday.
Time zones are our expertise.
Yes, it's true. We are professionals. So we have an exciting agenda today. Line up, if you will. We're going to talk about our entertainment news. Of course, have our Taylor talk. We're going to talk some sports and the Olympics. How many days now, Becca? How many days?
What are we at? Today's the 18th, so we've got 8 days?
We're so good at math.
8 days.
I can't believe it. It is like so close. Yeah, it's a week from tomorrow, right?
Yeah. So when this gets posted, it'll be within just a few days.
Oh, y'all, we cannot wait. And I apologize. I've got the plague this week, so I sound a bit like Patrick Mahomes in a way. And then, of course, we're going to end out with our audience questions and WhyFactor. In breaking news, you guys have been so gracious to ask us a lot of questions, which we love.
Absolutely love.
It's our favorite part of what we're doing now. So we are going to have a new episode every month that is just questions. We're still going to have some in each episode because, again, it's the best part. But ones that are not like kind of timing applicable or whatever topics we're talking about, we're going to put them all in this one episode. We haven't figured out when that's going to come out. We're going to record it tomorrow. We'll let you know. So we're super excited about doing that because we love the questions. Also,
yes,
we have a TikTok.
We do.
So, funny story. I forgot that we had a Whyspace TikTok. I am the one that created it. But the other day, Becca said something to me about it, and I was like, oh, who knew? I forgot. So I have gone in and loaded all of our old show content into it, and now we are updating it regularly. It is Whyspace with a dot, like the actual period, because I can't get into the other account that actually spells it out like our other social channels.
It's fine, guys.
This is all on brand. But anyway, we'd love it if you'd go follow us on TikTok, Whyspace dot, like the period.
Yes.
And follow us on there. You can drop the questions there. You can keep sending them on Instagram. And if you are sending them on Instagram, why don't you follow us there too?
Yeah.
This makes sense, guys. It just does. Yeah, we love it. So that's today's episode. And then soon, in the next week or so, you'll get the question episode too.
Yeah.
So
all good things.
Start with some entertainment news, Becca.
Let's do that.
All right. So let's start. It is the heat of summer. Now, I feel guilty even saying that. It's 71 degrees here. Becca, what is it in San Antonio? About
so currently today, we're only at like 93 because I think a storm is rolling in. So it actually feels nice outside.
Okay.
But the rest of this week has been approximately 195 degrees outside. So,
okay. Well, in that news, there's been a lot of music that has come out.
A lot.
This summer, and there's a lot more coming. It's just a great time to be a fan of music.
Yes.
And to have a show talking about pop culture. Perfect timing. So, Becca, do you have your top 3 so far songs of the summer?
I do. So my songs of the summer, how I typically do them are songs that like I'll blast in the car when we're driving to wherever, or songs that I'll play throughout the house, like when we're cleaning on the weekends. So our favorite right now is Beautiful Things by Benson Boone. Where you can just belt that section out.
Yep.
And Grayson is my little car singer. Ryder will not sing a lyric or anything in the car, but Grayson will belt it out with you. Okay. So that's been our favorite. And then Bar Song by Shabuzi.
Of course.
That's a fun one. Yep. And then one I heard this week, and it's by Ko Wetzel, which I don't think I've ever listened to any of his music, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's called High Road. And it just has some really good lines in there that's kind of like, I don't know. If you're like mad at somebody and you're like, but I'm better than you anyway, it's the perfect song.
Okay.
So
I like it.
It was like one of the lines is like, knock yourself out and hit a new low. I was like, that's a great line. Whoever came up with that lyric, fantastic. So those have been on repeat a lot in our car.
Awesome. I like those. Those are good choices. Of course, Benson opened the Taylor Eras Tour in London.
He did.
That was like the first I had heard. Well, I take that back. I had seen his name, obviously, because he was all over the charts. So I had seen it, which you would think I would be prompted then to go listen. I wasn't, but then I saw him open via my grainy live stream of the Air Tour in London, and oh, I love that dude.
I had really not heard about him until this song was constantly playing on TikTok and on the radio. Yeah. And so then I started listening to it, and then he opened for Taylor, and I was like, okay, this guy's got clearly some credentials here.
Yeah. I mean, and then the Shaboozey song, I love that song, but I think TikTok again, like I heard it all the time on TikTok. And so those are good ones. I didn't know if you were going to pick a Sabrina Carpenter song, because I know everyone is saying this is the summer of Sabrina, and I love her, but she didn't make my 3 either.
No. I
mean, Espresso, I don't call it a summer song because it came out in the spring.
Right.
I mean, it's just, I don't have anything from Tortured Poets Department on my summer songs yet. That's like half of pretty much all I listen to.
Right.
I mean, I could, but so my 3, I am obsessed with the $1 Million Baby song.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love it. Again, TikTok. That's how I found it. But I love it. And then, of course, Gracie Abrams and Taylor and their song.
I almost put that one.
I love it. I was just listening to it again yesterday. And, Gracie this week put out her music video to the I Love You, I'm Sorry song, which I think is my favorite Gracie song. I don't know. Us is really battling for that top spot, but I love that song. And her videos, I really like her videos because, her best friend, Audrey, makes them. Mm-hmm. Kind of like the two of them kind of cook up the plan, and Audrey shoots it and like does everything. And I just like that because it's not overdone, like it's not all these theatrics and props and explosions and all them. So I really like that. That's kind of off topic. And then my 3rd one is the Not Like Us song by Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, good picks.
I do really enjoy that song. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some really good music this summer that's been nice to kind of like diversify what we're listening to.
And there's still several big things coming out this summer. And of course, we never know. There could be Taylor music. We'll get to it. I can't. Today I'm in a bad spot with it all. But what we'll do at the end of the summer, we'll come back and say, okay, now that the summer is officially over,
yes,
where did we land? But today, those are good picks. We have a little legal entertainment news. Becca, would you like to tell the audience, if they haven't heard, the late breaking news on Alec Baldwin?
Yeah, so we had kind of talked a little bit about it, but he had gone to court. Some of them had been pushed back to later dates or whatever. So officially he went to trial a couple weeks ago. And they were in the middle of opening arguments, calling their witnesses and doing all of that. And then come to find out the prosecution had evidence of some bullets that were potentially used on the arrest set or mixed in with those. And when they had turned them over, or when they had been given to the investigators and then put with all the evidence, they had put them under a different case file number, which apparently is a huge deal. So it was separate from the arrest evidence. So when the defense went to request everything, that was not given to them. So when this came out in court, obviously the judge is upset because it goes against all these different laws that they have in place. The Brady law is something they kept throwing out. So apparently that's a big deal in the legal world. But so come to find out, the judge not only dismissed the case, but dismissed with prejudice, which means these charges can never be brought against him again. Mm-hmm. So it was a big, and I liked how his family reacted, because obviously that's a stressful situation that they're under, but also not a time to celebrate because someone did still die in the situation. Yeah. So I thought they were very classy in how they handled that. I will be interested to see if the armorer, Gutierrez, that was already found guilty, I will be interested to see if they try and appeal that because of this and how the two would pertain to each other.
Yeah. Right when it happened, obviously I saw the footage from the courtroom, and of course he broke down crying as well as Hilaria. Which, I mean, rightfully so, honestly. I mean, that's got to be it.
And you've got 7 babies at home. Can you imagine the stress that you're under thinking, A, I'm going to raise them by myself, and being Alex, you're like, what if I spend the rest of my life in prison?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine. So it was definitely warranted their reaction. But yeah, I think my thoughts instantly went to that woman's family.
Yeah.
I mean, I just know that her husband, I mean, again, nothing's going to bring her back. Nothing's going to erase what happened. But man, it's got to be a weird feeling.
Yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, I want to say that Alex paid for her funeral, like paid the family to take care of funeral expenses.
I feel like that's happened too.
Like they had brought like a civil case against him that he settled and gave them financial compensation for. So I feel like he was like, because he cared about her. It was somebody that he worked with and it was a tragic accident.
Right.
So, again, I don't remember if all of that was finalized, but I do remember not long after all of this happened, there were articles that came out saying that he was financially taking care of the family.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope so. Yeah. But yeah, so, always come to us when you need your legal news in the entertainment world.
But I really appreciate that they're starting to televise these court cases.
Yes.
Like,
because you are just nosy enough to need that. Yep.
Right.
I apologize too. I am drinking. If you're just listening and not watching, I am drinking something because I sound like Kermit the Frog. But I know if you have what is it, ASMR?
Yes.
Probably driving you crazy. So my apologies. I don't know what's worse, that or the way I sound. So,
all right, just all around.
Yeah. So the next one, I don't know if this was a tough question for you, Becca, because Becca likes to latch on to a show and ride or die 2 decades later with a show. And she likes to condense her life to where she can only focus on certain things at a time. I, however, am all over the place. I can't finish anything to save my life. So this could be a very varied answer. But 2024, we've just talked about, we've had a lot of music so far. There's a lot coming. What TV shows or movies are you looking forward to that's coming out either this summer or the fall?
Listen, when I saw this question on the rundown, I was like, come on, Mandy.
That's exactly what I said to myself when I wrote it. I was trying to stretch you as a human.
I was like, can I put that I'm looking forward to the new season of Grey's Anatomy?
Well, I knew that was going to be on the list, and I assume you're going to say college football season. So
listen, those are definitely things. But I was trying to think of, because there are some movies still coming out this summer, and there are some new fall TV shows that are coming out that I had seen clips for that I was like, you know what, maybe I can pencil that into my life somewhere.
So we will see, everyone.
But the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie is coming out. So we already have tickets. We are for sure going to see that.
Yep.
I was never like Marvel, DC comic books like that wasn't in our house. My brother didn't read any of that or play with those action figures. I didn't grow up around it. However, I am married to a man and have 2 boys that are obsessed with all things comic book.
Same.
So we go to all of those. And I actually have found that I kind of enjoy watching those movies. They're actually good.
Yep.
It's not a Hallmark movie, folks, but they are still good.
Be the opposite. But of course, anytime we can support Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, absolutely.
That's definitely number 1 on my list also.
Yeah. So I have that one. Harold and the Purple Crayon with Zachary Levi is also coming out. We went and saw the new Despicable Me movie a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And they had a trailer for it. It actually looked pretty cute.
Okay.
So looking forward to that one. And then the new season of Only Murders in the Building should be out next month.
Yep.
Love that show.
Same.
And then the other one, there's a brand new show coming on CBS. And I saw the trailer for it or the ad for it like last year. It's been a hot minute. But it's called Matlock on CBS.
Oh,
and
like
has
Matlock
Bates as Matlock. So obviously it's a play off of the original Matlock. But she's supposed to be like this lawyer that used to be like really good. And so she's coming out of retirement because she decides she wants to do something. So she goes to this big law firm. And so it pairs her up with all of these like young up and coming lawyers that think they know everything. And then kind of her tricks that she had learned previously. It looks like it's going to be really funny. So I'm kind of excited to see that one. And Kathy Bates just in general. I love watching her stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know that was coming out. That well, Erin and I talk about this a lot. And it sounds like this is obviously going to be a little different because obviously she's a female and Matlock was a man.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of times I feel like, are we really going to get anything new ever? Or are we just going to remake everything?
I mean, some of the new stuff we get is not great. So let's remake the things that people did enjoy.
We'll stick with what we know,
Oh gosh.
Those are good ones. So yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
had the Deadpool Wolverine movie, of course. And in supporting our favorite Hollywood couple, and of course, the queen of my heart, Blake Lively, I have It Ends With Us.
Okay. Listen,
I'm super excited.
that looks like it's going to give me anxiety. So I didn't put it on my list.
So my first note that I have here is not for Becca. This is what I have in my notes, not for Becca. Okay, so here's the thing. I was not on the original Colleen Hoover train.
Yes.
Which, just note for the audio, no one was. Her books came out in 2014, a wee bit ago, 10 years, if you will.
I didn't realize that.
That's some of them. Some of them came out before that. And let me just tell you, they did nothing.
Yeah.
But because you people on the TikTok and what is known as book talk, somehow somebody caught wind of her book on Book Talk and it blew up. And that is what made Colleen Hoover relevant. And hey, props to her. Would we love for this show to blow up on TikTok? Yes.
Sure.
Go hit that follow button.
That's right.
We will never make it on Feet Finder, so we need you to hit follow. But that's what happened. And so there was this part of me as someone who is sitting on a book manuscript, that's a whole other episode, was kind of bitter about it because I was like, I read the book. I've read all of her books. And she's a great writer. Definitely not saying that she's not. Did I think it warranted all of this? Probably not. And then, just to double down on the angst I had towards this, to find out that my queen, Blake Lively, was going to star in the movie, I was like, for the love of God, really? Okay, we just can't quit with Colleen Hoover. And so I have kind of immersed myself in the Colleen world because she's obviously all over Blake's social now. Blake's doing a lot of promo for the movie. Right. So I like her now. I mean, it's fine. But I'm super pumped for this movie. That is, of Colleen's books, I will say this and the book called Verity are my two favorite of hers. I will say both would send you into the fetal position.
Okay.
But it's Blake Lively, so...
Do her books have like happy endings? Like it ties everything out neatly with the bow and everybody's good at the end? Or is it kind of...
With It Ends With Us, yes, it does. Verity, I don't know. I don't know. It depends on what you call happiness. It is not Hallmark. None of her books end with Hallmark happiness, but they do conclude in a somewhat positive way. It Ends With Us does more so than Verity. So I'm excited for it, though. It looks like, there was a lot of skepticism when Blake was cast, which first of all, you people got some balls to have skepticism when Blake Lively is cast for anything.
She can do any role.
Go ahead. They were mad because she doesn't have red hair. And I'm like, did y'all see Green Lantern? She can do red.
Right.
Her sister has red hair. I mean, come on. But I'm super pumped for that. Obviously, Taylor's on the soundtrack, which only escalates my excitement. But so I'm excited for that. I'm also excited for Only Murders in the Building. Our girl Selena got an Emmy nomination.
Look at her. I didn't realize it was her first one.
I didn't either. I just assumed that.
Yeah.
Selena's that very confusing entity that has like the most followers on social media. And you're like, Selena, go ahead. Like, I don't know people, but I'm with you. I'm Team Selena all the way. So I was super excited. I love that show. So those are the ones I'm kind of excited about. A lot of shows that I actually enjoy are delaying their next season. Like, first of all, this should really be an entire therapy session. The fact that you haven't watched The Summer I Turned Pretty. I just really can't with that whole narrative you have going on. But they delayed that. It's not coming out until next year. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Do you think that it was supposed to come out like this summer and then with the Olympics and then football right after? They're like, let's give it a minute?
I don't know. It normally comes out, and I could be wrong about this, but I feel like it comes out around Labor Day, kind of like the end of the summer.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm not happy with this decision.
So it's a TV show. It's not a movie.
Okay. Well,
I for sure thought it was a movie.
Yeah. All right. So it's a TV show. It is based on a book series, Jenny Han. and I adore everything about it. I feel like you would love it. This is the reason. So there's a lot of shows that I'm like, okay, I can accept Becca wouldn't watch this. This though is so you.
Well, I need to add it to my list. I'm trying to like broaden my horizons, read some books, watch some new shows.
Well, I was going to say you could read these books because the books they're really good. I just feel like you would really love the show. I really need this kind of commitment. I need this to happen.
Okay, I can do that.
So those are mine. Let's see. Speaking of TV shows, what are your top 5 all time, not just current? Because I know you pretty much just watch one show right now.
Wow. Like a lot of judgment coming this way.
No, none. What are your top 5 shows of all time?
Okay, so I had to think on this one for a little while because as kids, we weren't really allowed to watch a ton of TV.
Same.
And as an adult, I just don't watch a ton. But I did have a few. So obviously, Grey's Anatomy was on my list because I started that. So I think that started airing in 2005. I didn't start it in college until like 2007, probably.
And it's 2024, and you're still
watching it.
I can't.
So it's just it's always got good storylines. Obviously, there's always some dips in it, but it's just such good memories because in college, all of us girls would get together in one dorm room and climb on a bed and watch all the episodes together. So that one has just always had good memories, and it's the one show that I've just really stayed committed to. I feel like I can't break up with it at this point.
It's your longest relationship.
It really is. Out of anything. It's been there longer than my husband. So, Friends. Look, that's just an instant classic. But again, I did not watch that until I was married when I started watching that. So 2009 and after. Because obviously that was not a show that was allowed in our home.
No. None of these.
There were relationships. You can't have this.
Yeah.
Only Murders in the Building actually made my list when I was kind of flip-flopping back and forth. Mm-hmm. I think because it just combines like the comedy, but it also combines the podcasting and the serial killer and all of those different aspects that you can have in things. And so I've just really enjoyed that one. But then my classic ones, Saved by the Bell. That was such a good one from our childhood.
I even forgot about that, but I mean, it's such a cornerstone of our upbringing.
Yeah. And even the college years.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
And Zach and Kelly getting married. I mean,
right. But then one I put, it was like the one I remember everybody in our family would sit down and watch every Friday night was Family Matters with the Winslows.
So funny story. Aaron loves this. He thinks this is so fascinating. I wasn't allowed to watch Family Matters.
Really?
Because my dad felt like the way they represented Urkel being the smart guy as being like super nerd. Felt that was inappropriate because it made smart people seem like they would be considered nerds and not cool.
Interesting.
It's always something with the Reverend. Anyway.
They'll find something so we can't have fun.
Yeah, God forbid.
That's funny. Yeah. What were yours that you picked?
All right. So, West Wing.
That was a good one.
Yeah. So, if you don't know me, I used to work in politics from like, I don't know, the dawn of time, 2004 through like 2009. Actually, starting in 2001. Anyway, so I used to work in politics. We lived in DC. My friends and I moved there like literally days after college graduation. We lived together. We worked together. We traveled the world together. We loved it.
Yeah.
It was definitely like an epic part of my life. And so West Wing was on at the same time. And so, well, actually it was kind of ending and then we bought the box set. That was like, we got our house in DC and we went to Target and we bought the box set of this show and then my next show that I'm going to
The good old days of buying box sets.
Yeah.
Shows. I love it.
Well, it made me start thinking, I was like, I wonder whatever happened to that box set. And so I texted Sarah, my old roommate, and I was like, whatever happened to our West Wing box here? She was like, oh, it's at my house. She was like, we saw it when we moved into the house that she lives in now. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even own a DVD player. Like,
no.
But I loved West Wing. It was, a lot of people would think like, oh, you work in that, you don't want to watch it. No, I loved it.
Yeah.
And it was, again, like the memories, like you mentioned, just all of us sitting around this big L couch that we had. It was the best. And then the second box set that we bought that same day was Dawson's Creek.
Okay.
And I loved Dawson's Creek. I was Team Pacey all the way, but I loved the show because just the dynamic, but also like Dawson being a writer, I always kind of connected to that. My least favorite part of the show was Katie Holmes.
Okay.
He has the worst whiny accent in that show. I can't stand it.
Is that her real voice that she uses in the show, or did she do an intentional accent? I don't know that I've ever heard her speak, like outside of a film she's in.
And in fact, the only other movie I can remember hearing her voice is that one where she plays the first daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was kind of, so I don't know. Yeah, it may be permanent. I apologize, but I would find that even worse now that she's older if it's still that way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I love Dawson's Creek. My third favorite, because I can't leave out Blake Lively, is Gossip Girl.
Okay.
We were obsessed with Gossip Girl in college and into living in DC. I mean, I just recently rewatched the entire series for my third time.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not somebody like, if my husband's like, hey, do you want to watch whatever movie that we've watched a million times? I'm like, no, I'm so tired. I can watch Gossip Girl any day of the week. And I can come in any season, any episode, and I can tell you everything that's been happening. Like, I don't know what I had for breakfast, but I loved it.
I can fully analyze this show.
Yeah. My next one is actually a sign of my rebellion in high school.
Okay.
So I too was not allowed to watch anything. Clearly, I couldn't even watch Family Matters. And on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m., most would find us in church in the youth group. Perhaps in high school, we started sneaking out of youth group and watching 90210.
Stop.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. At my friend Kristen's house. We would sneak over there, watch it, and zip back so our parents didn't know, because back then, they couldn't track you.
I hope you repented for this.
I mean, I'm sure I've had some bad karma because of it, but I loved 90210 so much, which timely with Shannon Daughtery dying this past week. I just loved that show. I loved it when they went into college and even post-college. Those were probably even my favorite of the series. I did not like the revamping 90210. A girl I went to high school with was in it. Anyway.
No, thank you.
I don't know if you watch this show, but it's not weird that I have that opinion of you. So anyway, I loved 90210. Was that all five? West Wing, Dawson's Creek, Gossip Girl? Nope. My last one. So my last one, I was really torn, and I'm mad that you brought up Saved by the Bell because that feels like an epic part, but I picked Scandal.
Okay. I've never watched this one all the way through, but I've seen like
now that surprises me that you would have watched any of it.
I'm telling you, because you got to commit so much. There's so many, and I'm already in a relationship with Grace. I just
listen, but also with Scandal, there's a lot of anxiety in there. It doesn't feel like a good fit for you.
That is true, but it's Shonda Rhimes, and she never disappoints.
She does not. Actually, with Scandal, I loved it because a lot of people were like, "Oh, this has to all be made up." Let me go ahead and tell you. A lot of that stuff happens every single day in DC. And that show itself, Kerry Washington's character, Olivia Pope, is based on a very, very real human being who I have met. She is a very real person. And I'm sure that show is candy in comparison to what this woman does in real life. She is the type of person, when you walk in a room, whether you know who she is or not, you feel a difference in the room. And so I think because like we knew of her and had been in situations where she was, and we knew a lot of things from our bosses too, I loved it because I was like, this romanticizes something that can give serious anxiety in your career. Yeah. So, and I thought Kerry Washington was just amazing in that show.
That's a good one. Did you ever watch, obviously it's not on our list, but being in the political realm, did you ever watch Veep?
So a lot of people have asked me that. So I haven't. I have seen some of it. This may be a real spicy take. I don't like, what's her name? Louis Dreyfus.
Louis Dreyfus.
Okay, I hated Seinfeld. I thought it was the stupidest show on the planet. And I know that's spicy and people get all in the arms about it. But I just hated it. And she was actually the worst part to me.
That's fair.
Okay.
So we watched it and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. Because it is kind of one of those like dumber comedies, but I remember watching it being like, I bet this is more realistic than we realize.
That's what people have asked me, like, oh, is this real? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I probably should check it out. Aaron and I are looking for a show. Retha is my life coach, really. If you don't know. She says that Aaron and I need a show that we're binging together. And I was actually leaning towards Suits because, again, I've mentioned it on here that I've pretty much only watched it via TikTok. So, but maybe we'll do Veep. I don't know.
It's good. It's one of those kind of like where you have to get into a couple episodes so that the main character, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, doesn't like grate on your nerves. Because once you start to realize the storylines and how everything plays into it, you're like, actually, that's very fitting for the role that you're in. So that one was really good.
So many people ask me about that. So I will check it out. I wanted to tell you what my honorable mention was, though, because I think it's going to stun you.
Okay. Grace Net.
Close. Private Practice.
Okay.
That
was a great one.
That was my number 6.
That was that's the precursor to Grey's.
I loved it. And again, I liked Grey's the first 300 years it was on.
That's fair.
You know.
Okay.
All right. So we've had a lot of questions from the audience about different things about different podcasts. We have obviously mentioned quite a few podcasts in here in our WhyFactor and just in general. But I thought of this question. And I picked 4 podcasts that one of them were kind of newer too, but the other 3 I think that we've kind of followed for a while. But I want to know your dream guest on these podcasts. We'll do them one by one. Let's start with New Heights. Who is your dream guest on New Heights?
So I think a fun one to be on New Heights would be Pat McAfee. Their banter back and forth and kind of their different experiences, because Pat was not like huge superstar when he was on a football team, and he was definitely in a different role than what Jason and Travis were in. So I think he would be good. I would love to see any of the new rookies from the Chiefs on there and kind of get their perception of what their rookie year is like compared to when Jason and Travis were rookies, and just kind of what that learning looks like going from college football into the NFL. I think it would be good. And then obviously Taylor Swift. I feel like that's a given.
I didn't know if it was going to come up.
She doesn't even have to answer a single question or utter a single word. Just pop your head in, sister.
That's literally all I want, is her to like slide her head in there. I don't even want her to talk on there. I just want her to like kind of creep in the scene.
Listen, the joy it would bring these old women.
Oh my gosh. The Twitter would melt down.
Oh my God. Highlight of our year.
I think that we could be close to it happening. I do not ever see her being a guest on there, the way Kylie does, but I think
she's in KC while she's on break.
That's what I think.
He starts back recording while they're in camp. I don't know when they're start back recording.
Screen and just rip back out.
Well, something. That's all we're asking. Who would you have on there? Because they've got a lot of people already.
They have, and honestly, the first 2 people I thought of, I was like, oh wait, they've already been on there. So that kind of changed my thoughts. I actually went with Peyton and Eli.
Ooh, that would be a great one.
Because I think that that whole brother dynamic, and they both have different personalities too. I think they seem a little more similar than Jason and Travis kind of do, because they just kind of have different roles they fill. But I think that would be super interesting. And then also just the dynamic of like the fact that they're like anchors, broadcasters, whatever you want to call it these days. And obviously Jason is about to be, and I think Travis probably will be in some capacity at one point. So, and their personalities I really like too. So I think it'd be really cool. And yeah, of course, Taylor's number 1, but it would probably kill us from excitement. All right. The Calm Down podcast with Aaron and Carissa.
I would love to see Kylie Kelsey on there.
Oh, that's a good one.
Not only for like the whole Travis, Taylor Swift aspect of it and them kind of getting to meet her, but also getting that kind of more behind the scenes look of like, what does it look like to support a professional athlete, but then also moving into retirement, kind of what does that look like? And then finding your own way to carve yourself out. When you've got a husband that's very successful, you're a mom as well. So like what makes you stand out and the things that you enjoy and kind of carving your own path in life. So I think she'd be a great one.
Yeah, that is a really good one. In kind of the same vein, I picked Donna Kelsey. First of all, no, I'll save that for the WhyFactor. Anyway, I picked Donna because somewhat similar, just like raising athletes, their family. I just think it's all, every time I see her do an interview, I'm like, God, that was so like cool to hear that part of it. And so I just think it would be, obviously they're very in the Swiftie world. They're obviously big fans of Travis. I think, I just think the dynamic would be really cool just to hear. Anytime I can hear Donna talk about raising them, what life is like now, I just love it.
Yeah. Anybody that gives that parenting advice that we've seen what your children have turned into as adults, those are the people that I want to listen to when I'm trying to figure out my own path in raising boys.
Yep.
Because I can see whatever you did clearly worked. And she just seems, I'm not one of those, let's read a book about it and do all these frills and charts and all these things. Yeah. No. And she just seems so very common sense about life and about raising kids. She's always fascinating to listen to.
Yeah. All right. Bussin' with the Boys. Again, I'm newer to that one. I love following Will. Who would you want to see on Bussin' with the Boys?
Okay. So this one, I couldn't really pick anybody because again, I'm also new to them. I knew of them obviously for a while, but I didn't watch a single episode until they had Travis on there.
Same.
So then I was like, well, what if I pick somebody that they've already been on there? But
yeah, we'll excuse that because I don't know either.
Yeah. I enjoy just in general, maybe their old coaches. I think would be a good I always enjoy the dynamic of listening to players that are now out of the NFL and then their coaches and kind of them being able to go back and forth and like how their different points of views were and what the coach's perspective is of some of the things and then how the players actually perceive those situations. It's always interesting to me to listen to that.
That is a good one. So I have two. My first one is I wanted to see Jason on there. Kelsey, he could have been on there. I don't know. I feel like I would know if he had, but I really enjoy listening to Jason talk on shows. He's way smarter than I think he comes across.
Very intelligent. Yes.
And I love the way he breaks down game footage. Actually, Travis is really good at breaking down game footage, which I don't think you would expect. But I really enjoy Jason's perspective of the game. I think it goes back to sort of what we talked about in last week's episode. We talked about underrated players. That center in a football team, they just see so much more of the game than I think we even realize what's happening. So I thought that would be interesting. The other one I had was Roger Goodell, who I go back and forth on if I like, but
yeah.
I think one of the things I like about Will and Taylor so far that I've seen with their show is it's kind of like they don't hold back on the punches. And so I think there's a lot of things that you can really come at Goodell about. You don't have to be aggressive about it, but like I think as former players too, though, that they have another perspective. Now they're not fined for saying anything, I just feel like it could be a really honest conversation. There's so many changes in the game right now. I just think it would be interesting. And kind of in a like irreverent sort of way, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And then finally, one of our favorite podcasts, who I could not be happier for the week that Sophie Hudson and Melanie Schenkel have had at the SEC days. Like, they got to go on Feinbaum. They got to be on the Mac and Kublik show. And I just, good Lord, no two women.
And they're such a joy to watch.
Yeah, they're like, freaking hilarious, but yet there's so much to them and their knowledge. And I love it. I feel like a lot of times, like, we don't purposefully try to emulate what they do, but a lot of times we find freedom in some of the stuff we do and talk about because we've seen them.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's very few women that I literally could just sit in a room and just soak in literally everything you're saying about any topic in the world.
Same.
And they are two of the ones that I just would love to be in a room with.
Yeah, me too.
So I put us.
Okay, I love it. That's a great answer.
I also put Jimbo Fisher. just because I think that'd be funny.
That would be funny too. So that is a really good answer. I have two answers. I went with a male and a female. So I actually put Kelsey on there.
Okay. Why not?
They don't do much about the NFL, but I think from the motherhood aspect and the wife aspect, and also, Sophie's got a book coming out this fall that is about leadership. And I think that Kylie, I think that she has a lot of wisdom about leadership. I think probably coming from her days of playing field hockey, but like, I think what she had to be in their family while Jason had his career.
Yeah.
And just like what they do with the foundation and everything, I think it would be really interesting.
Agreed.
And then my second one was actually Ed Orgeron, Coach O.
Okay.
I know that's super random, but he coached at LSU, which Sophie's like a part-time LSU fan because they lived in Baton Rouge for a little bit. But I just think he's another one that's kind of like Jimbo. He's entertaining. He's also obviously had some things that went awry with his career. Right.
He's an interesting guy.
And so I think, again, from the leadership perspective, they could really dig into things with him. But also I just think he would be funny too.
That's a great pick.
I hadn't thought about him in a while. And so I was like, what happened to him? Yeah.
I don't know. Let's get Melanie and Sophie on it.
Yeah. But hey, if y'all want to have us on the show, Soph and Mel, hey, anytime we'll make it happen.
We're free.
Switching gears back to music, we need to talk about Katy Perry.
What?
Okay, now I'm just going to start by saying I would not put Katy Perry in general, not until now. I would not put her in my top 25. Just
of artists?
Yeah, she's just not my vibe. Now, listen, I can turn on Roar and I can go to town. Okay. Yes. But outside of that,
an Olympic runner, when I'm listening to that and I'm outside, I can take it.
I always put it on as like part of Judd's pump up soundtrack before he has a game. But outside of that, I got nothing. Like when I think of Katy Perry, you want to know what the one word is that comes to mind?
Oh, what?
Plastic.
I mean,
I don't know why. It's like there's like a, God, this sounds bad, but there's like a cheap vibe to her music. And I think she makes it worse with her covers and her videos.
I think it's because of the almost cartoon eyes, kind of like costumes and everything that she puts on it. And her songs are very catchy. Like it's a good bop for like a week. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm good. There's not depth to it. So that's actually a really good description for that.
So she had a new song come out last week called Woman's World that she had been playing up for a while since she announced she was dropping new music. And I've seen all the deep dives that it's supposed to be, the video is supposed to be satire in the song.
I saw that.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that are problematic about Katy Perry. I know that she and Taylor no longer have bad blood, even though that's what the song was about. But and she's been to the Eras Tour. So I don't really have beef about that as much anymore, though I still think there's some issues there. But I do not understand how you can write a song about the woman's world and you're working with Dr. Luke. And if you're not familiar with Dr. Luke, he is like a dirt bag.
I was fascinated that she chose him, knowing she had to have known you're going to get some backlash for that. Not just from the public, but from your own industry.
I think more so from your own industry. Like
that was a wild choice.
I don't understand it. I don't understand anything about any of her career choices. I just don't. The songs that she puts out, the songs that she has passed on that it's come out that they were like tried to give them to her, Flowers was supposed to be Katy Perry's. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think it's one of those things. I do enjoy a good bop that you can just turn on and everybody just enjoys it. I think that I really enjoy music that seems to have a little bit more depth or meaning behind it. And that's just never been a vibe I've gotten from her, which is fine. Like if that's not her style, that's fine. But it always just, her music comes across to me very much like somebody passed this to my manager and said it would make a lot of money if I released it. Like it seems like she just kind of will release anything.
Well, and it also seems like I'm not sure she knows how old she is. the music she puts out is like really what I could see like a Disney star putting out.
I mean, she looks young still. So
I mean, listen, she looks phenomenal. But yeah,
she's doing great there.
I'm not down with the vibe. I did find this statistic that I thought was super interesting. So Woman's World debuted at 2.6 million streams over 24 hours. In less than 24 hours, Robin, which is probably one of the worst songs on the anthology that Taylor put out, had 3.84. Like,
okay.
Yowza. So I don't think we have to worry about Katy on the album of the year.
No.
Combo. I don't see it.
No. I think everybody had such high hopes because she had not released anything for so long. So everybody was like, surely she's been like really curating what she's going to put onto this album. And I think it fell flat from what maybe our expectations were.
Yeah. I don't know. Godspeed to her though.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears and do our Taylor talk. This week she has a new single announced. I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. I think we all kind of, I mean, it'd been hinted for a while. And then I think Travis being on stage during that song, I think that was the Easter eggs to say, hey, this is about to be it.
This is the one.
Are we going to get a music video? Should I give up?
I mean, I always hold on to hope that we're going to get a music video, but she doesn't release a ton of music videos.
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought we had gotten some paparazzi pictures way back last year where they were like, she was recording on a yacht or something. So now I'm like, was she recording or was she like on a date? And we just didn't know.
Probably. Do you remember, I vividly remember texting you saying, they're saying Taylor's about to record something at the Hollywood sign.
Yes.
And if you remember, in the background on the screen, when she's performing I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, it is the Hollywood sign. Right. So I still feel like there's hope. I would think though that if she is releasing one, she would have to release it this week. Because it doesn't make sense to release a single and not release a video for.
Here's my question. What exactly does it mean when somebody releases a single? Because the song has already been released. It's already out there. Does that just have something to do with like radio?
It's all about radio because it's not been pushed to the radio.
Okay.
So like the anthology, like you won't go on the radio today and hear Who's Afraid of Little Old Me.
Yeah.
The only thing you'll hear right now is Fortnite. Well, I guess now you'll hear I Can Do It With a Broken Heart too. But yeah, that's really all it means nowadays. For most artists, and for her historically, that means you're about to get a music video.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm really hopeful, but I have to be honest. My heart is downtrodden right now about the Easter eggs. Listen, people have gotten my hopes up too much. I'm sad now.
You sent me, where it was that like meme or something that said Swifties are the modern day cult that was always predicting the coming of Christ. And I was like, that's exactly what the Swifties are.
It's really what it feels like. I think I'm in a lull today because I guess we potentially know right now if we were on Twitter, but I'm pretty sure yesterday was Travis's last show. I don't know how he would see a show and still get back to report tomorrow morning, but I guess if there's a way he'd figure it out. But I think last night, I think even you could tell with his demeanor that he was sad.
Yeah.
So it made me sad. Like we're not going to get Karma as the guy on the Chiefs anymore.
They're going to miss each other.
We're not going to get the walking off holding hands. I'm sad. Like he's never going to see the Eras tour again. So I think that makes me sad that like it really is going to end. And
it's crazy to think that we actually are coming to the end of this.
There's only like
a minute.
There's only like 11 cities left.
That's wild.
I'm not in a good spot.
That's fair.
And we
all need that moment to grieve.
The latest is that allegedly she's going to announce Rep TV tomorrow.
We're just not holding our breath, folks.
I understand.
Comment on our socials if you actually believe she's fixing to release Rep. I don't know how many people truly believe, because we've been holding out hope for a
and I get it. The math is mathing. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, it makes sense. Sure. They all make sense typically.
Yeah.
But I saw a thing yesterday that was like 6 pictures of different times she has been like intentionally dropping Easter eggs. Like in the Me video when the word, or maybe it's not the Me video. I don't remember what video it is when she has Lover.
Okay.
There's been very obvious Easter eggs in the past. And so they're like, y'all don't have to think this hard. She's real obvious about it. But okay. Now here's just what I'm going to say though.
Okay.
Yesterday I watched the Grainy live stream. A lot of it. They're in Germany, and again, that town I can't pronounce. And I'll be honest, she got up to do the surprise songs, and there's a screen that's over her head in their arena. I don't know why, or their stadium. It glitched very dramatically and went green.
Yes, it did.
3 times. And I was like, and of course, everyone is even the live streamers like, oh. And I'm like,
what does it mean?
I'm like, I see it, my guy. Like, she's doing this. Like, she's jacking with everybody now. And so, she wore an all yellow outfit yesterday during 1989, which now completes the Look What You Made Me Do video vault where she's in those different colors. I get it. I mean, I get it. The math is mathing. She should announce it tomorrow. I get it. Is it going to happen? No, stop doing
I have a new theory on when I think she'll announce.
Oh, brother. Okay.
Or when it's just going to drop. I think in December, once she is done with her tour,
that long?
She's going to release Debut and Reputation, because now that her tour is over, she has taken back her name and her reputation.
So I am a double drop truther about this with Rep and Debut, because here's the first thing I'll say about that. I don't think Debut is going to sell. I mean, it's going to sell because it's Taylor Swift.
Right.
It's not going to do what we're used to.
Right. I don't know that it's anybody's favorite.
No. But I am anxious to hear some of them. The Perfectly Good Heart. Oof.
Yeah. I'll be interested if there's vault tracks on that one. I'm sure there will be, but
I think there has to be. Yeah.
What are they? Yeah.
Yeah. So I am a double drop truther. So I could see that it's potentially, I think something is coming out on her birthday. It's a Friday and a 13th. Good Lord. We know she's not going to skip that.
Might as well.
She is. I've always assumed it was going to be Debut. I still feel like Rep is coming out in September. I don't know why. I can't even keep up anymore what number calculation made me believe that, but I still believe that. Okay. I still think even if she announced it tomorrow, it's still not coming out until then. But I don't see, my problem with tomorrow now is that I don't see announcing a single on a Monday and then announcing an album coming out on a Thursday or Friday.
I mean, fair.
I don't know, but what do we know?
But what? Who are we?
But I'm sad about it. I'm also sad about something real stupid that I sent you this morning.
Okay.
The New York Times, first of all, y'all are stupid most of the time anyway, but they literally called Midnight's one of her worst albums.
Yes.
What?
I'm just convinced they have things on a wall that they just throw darts at, and they're like, well, that's the order that we have to put it in now.
The only thing I can assume is they just want people to click, because what? That is literally one of the best albums of all time.
Right?
The word, y'all are stupid. So I just needed to address that. Obviously, the only thing that defeats my theory about releasing a single on Monday, announcing a new album on Friday is she announced a single on Monday when we just got new remixes on Thursday?
Yeah, it was not too long ago. Just a few days.
Fortnite has 2 new remixes. It has the I don't even remember what it's called, but there's the cult version, which there's a woman. I think she's a woman, an artist named Cult. Again, where do we find these people? I don't know. And then she has an acoustic version with Post. And listen, she secured week 12, which on the charts is the top album, which was a big deal because it beats Whitney Houston as the top female. So there's a big deal right now because to get week 13 would mean that she owns like the outright record beating Stevie Wonder. It is rumored that she's actually going to drop to number 4 this week. After this week. That's why I do think there is a chance something from TTPD is coming out like now, more than just a single. Is it a music video?
I mean, it would be a good move.
Because she cares about the charts. And I know people hate on her for that, but I think that's stupid. What do you do in your life that you don't want to be the best at? Like, I just think it's dumb.
That's part of her career goals, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody has their work goals that they're trying to meet. So obviously that's something that she's going to try and do as well. Every artist is trying to do that. Even if they say that I don't care about that. They're
the biggest liars you've ever met. I was actually just having this conversation with Retha. So obviously I have this book manuscript that I don't know what we'll end up doing with, but part of the reason that I don't know what I'll do with it is because it has always been a dream of mine to make the New York Times bestsellers. Can I write well enough to do that? No. Do I want to make it? Yes. And it's all a game. It has nothing to do with the quality of your book. It is all a scheme. And there's been all these like deep dives that have proven this is all just a literal game. It's all about money. And it literally means nothing. But it, for me, is still something that I can't let go of. And I feel that way about like that. I feel like all these athletes go after things because of records. And I mean, it's human nature.
Cementing your name in history. Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah. So I just feel like there's a chance. Now, listen, we are experts at a lot of things. Math, not one of them.
We are.
I don't understand exactly how all these chart things work, because it was like the day that last week's numbers came out and she secured week 12, they instantly said, but she's expected to drop down to 4 for next week. I'm like, how do y'all already know?
Right. There's got to be an algorithm that they like.
I don't know how they know that, but Zach Bryan obviously has a new album that came out that like people are obsessed with.
Do we like him?
Well, we're going to talk about that on our question episode because somebody had one and it's a valid question. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings. I'm still real torn. I got a lot of thoughts in my head. But he's had an album out. Eminem's new album came out.
Love Eminem.
Don't worry, our girl Billie Eilish is nowhere in the picture, so that's good. She can't even spell out the O2. So good, Godspeed, Billie. Yes, I don't know. I just think it's dumb, but I do feel like something is coming this week. But again, announcing Rep TV does not help your streaming for TTPD.
True.
In my opinion, because it's not like people are like, oh, Taylor Swift, I forgot about her. Let me go listen to her music. That ain't it, friend. So I guess we'll see. We had, since we last recorded, she had 2 nights in Zurich. Nothing really to write home about with the surprise songs or either show. Milan, she had 2 nights. She started debuting new outfits, which of course got the math is mathing people all up in a tizzy. So she had a new Fearless dress, a new TTPD dress, and a new 1989 outfit. And
no new rep outfit. I'm bored with the
way you calculate all that, though, because you're deranged. Somehow that ends up in she's going to wear a new rep outfit tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know how, but okay. We'll see. They got to hear Getaway Car, though, so that made me excited for them. And then we had night 1 yesterday of Germany. We do think it's probably Travis's last show.
Is she there 2 or 3 nights?
She's there 3 nights, but something interesting did happen last night.
Oh.
So Invisible String used to be on the tour set list, the first 4 shows. And then obviously the news of the Joe breakup happened. It got removed and the one replaced it, which has also now been replaced. All of that tells you a story because Invisible String was obviously about Joe. The lyrics for the whole song are clearly about Joe. And then she replaced it when they broke up with You Could Have Been the One, clearly a hint at Joe. And now it's gone because, I mean, it is Joe over. But what's interesting is she played Invisible String yesterday with Superstar. So it was very Travis coded and it was so cute. And he was you could tell, I love that our boy gets in his feelings.
Yeah. It kind of feels like she has reclaimed the songs for herself.
I agree.
They're no longer about who maybe she originally wrote them for. She has reclaimed them now, which has been really fun to kind of watch. Not only her, but then Travis get to enjoy as well.
Well, and it's been cool because like even with Invisible String yesterday, she left out the lyrics because she's mashing them up. She can do whatever she wants, but she left out the lyrics that are very obviously Joe. I thought that was really cool. It does make me wonder, how will she ever play London Boy? I don't see that, but
I don't think she will.
Yeah, I think that's out. But what is interesting is what happened on the piano.
Yeah.
She did a mashup. I know you're already snarling, but she did a mashup of Slut and False God. Now, she did it in that order. She started with Slut and then went to False God.
Right.
On piano. In Singapore, the night of all the really whimsical pictures of she and Travis at that garden that looks like it's out of a movie.
Yes.
she did both of those songs in the reverse order. And so a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's because they got engaged that night, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. If they did get engaged, I think it was either there or Lake Como. I don't know. But it was very strange that she did those again. And nothing is accidental. So who knows?
Yeah. I think I just don't want to get my hopes up.
It's just like Rep TV. I just can't.
Right.
All right. I am going to skip a couple of things on our sports topics because we're already in an hour. We're working on shorter episodes-esque. But let's talk about picking your flag football team.
Okay.
We saw this on ESPN NFL. NFL Live guys went through and named their flag football teams, which obviously flag football coming to the Olympics near you.
Yeah.
In 2028, I am pumped.
It'll be good.
I can't wait to see what NFL players end up playing in it. That have
Do you think it'll be current NFL players? Because that'll be like right at the beginning of a season.
No, I think it's I don't. Well, I mean,
like recently retired.
But here's what I think will happen. Then I think it's gonna be recently retired, which is guess who at tight end. That's what I'm saying. Our boy's gonna be an Olympian.
Hot dang!
I'm just saying. I think it could totally happen.
Okay, I'm back in on flag football.
And you know what else you have to have in flag football? You have to have a center.
You could be on an Olympic team together.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's all I'm saying.
And then Reed might retire. Would he coach them?
I can't even. I just can't. We'll see. 4 years from now, we'll talk about it. All right. So to pick a flag football team, you need 3 wide receivers, a running back, and a quarterback. Or you could switch out one of the wide receivers for a tight end, whichever you would like to do. So, Becca, tell us your flag football team.
So I'm going for my quarterback, obviously, Patrick Mahomes.
No brainer.
Taking him. Justin Jefferson for wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey as my running back. Shocker, I know.
Yeah.
And then, what do I need? One more wide receiver?
Yep, and a tight end.
I guess we'll go Jamar Chase on that one.
Okay. And who's your tight end?
Travis.
I just had to ask.
I figured it was a given.
We have very comparable list. I went with Patrick, Christian, Travis, Justin Jefferson, and I went Tyreek. I don't know. I'm back
to him too. I can't decide what I feel about him.
I don't even know what's going to happen with him, but yeah. The other thing, let's talk about the Chiefs real quick. So let's see, when we record next Friday, the fam and I are going to the Chiefs practice. We're going next Friday. It is quarterback, running back autograph day.
Oh, fun.
And then we're going on Sunday because it is tight end wide receiver autograph day. And then we're going like in August, I think 5th-ish for all team autograph day.
Okay.
I don't know what it's going to be like. I'm super excited.
That'll be so fun.
I know. So football season is imminent.
We're so
49. I want to say it's 49 days from today. The NFL kicks off. I think
people are starting to report to camp, so we can start getting pumped about it.
Yep. They in St. Joe, Missouri, like 40 minutes from here. The Chiefs are hanging out.
Go to a college dorm.
Did we talk about this via text this week, or did I say to myself, I'm going to save this for the episode?
No, I think you probably said it to yourself.
Yeah.
Supposedly, there's only 8 teams in the NFL that still do their camps on it, like a college campus.
Well, and I know the Cowboys go to California, which I can understand. The Texas heat is brutal. But why do we not do this in our own stadiums and our own practice facilities? Like, why are we going elsewhere?
I wonder if it's just like to kind of go and seclude you, to kind of get away from everything, but then be in a different atmosphere, maybe.
But then you open it up for ticket sale.
I don't know.
It's very true. I'm sure there's a research we could do, but we haven't done that.
I just love the picture that I have in my mind of all of these multimillionaire players just kicking it in a college dorm. And you know what? They're probably having the time of their life. Because Patrick even said You got a TV.
Yeah.
They've got their little Xboxes or whatever.
Yeah, everybody's playing football on this. Yeah, in the Olympics. Yeah. I saw all these comments on Twitter about Travis, going from this luxurious summer. God only knows he's probably been staying in a castle in Germany overnight. But then he's going to go in that little twin size bed. Oh my God, it just cracks me up.
Yeah, I love it. But I think that that's a great thing for trying to like get everybody together on one team.
Yeah.
You've got these new guys coming in. So it kind of just separates you from the outside world and gives you that time to bond because we need it. We got a lot of new players and potential receivers and all of that. So we need them to be tight because we got a three-peat coming, folks.
You know what I just thought of too, though? When Taylor FaceTimes Travis, he's going to be hanging out in the dorm room like we're back in college. No wonder she's singing so high.
Can you imagine he's going to have to like, sorry, boys, I got to step into the hallway.
Yeah, somebody take my controller. I'll be back. Taylor's
I got to talk to my girlfriend.
She just got off the stage in front of 80,000 people. Please hold.
Multi-billionaire over here.
We'll do a breakdown more in depth of the Chiefs' upcoming season and their opponents and how we think they will shake out. But what are we thinking? Are we thinking? I'm not thinking undefeated.
No. I think obviously they're always going to have rough games. They even lost a few games last year that we were like, how did you lose that game?
Yeah.
So
God,
I don't even think we're going to come close to undefeated, but I think we'll have a similar record as we did last year.
Yeah. Kind of the ones I saw, like when I look at the schedule, here's what I'm going to go ahead and tell you I think is going to happen I think it's like week 6 or 7. They play the 49ers at San Francisco. I think we lose that game.
Okay.
Because I think the 49ers would be fine losing every single game this season as long as they beat the Chiefs at home.
That's kind of my thought when I saw that breakdown.
Yeah. So we'll do another, in one of our other episodes, we'll break it down even more. But let's talk about the Olympics.
Because, man.
We can't wait. All right, Becca, tell me, what are your top 3 Olympic events you never miss?
So the 3 that I absolutely never miss, and I think it's because I've watched these since I was a kid, is women's gymnastics.
Same.
I will always watch that one. I love all the track and field events, predominantly like just the quick races. I'm not trying to watch like the marathons and stuff where people are just running. I just feel so bad.
Oh,
that's literally what you've done your whole life is just to keep on running.
Well, like talk about being a martyr. I mean, thanks for fighting for our country, but
listen, I would get maybe a mile in and be like, this is good. Yeah. I participated.
And where's my medal? Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. And I've always really enjoyed watching beach volleyball. And last Olympics, I got into like watching more of like the indoor team ones. But women's beach volleyball is my favorite. And I am just fascinated that their bikini bottoms
they don't move. They are not picking it out of their butt. I don't get it.
I could have been in shorts out there and I'm like uncomfortable.
Do you think they use some kind of
there has to be some kind of like fabric tape or glue or something.
It's like those women that we see at award shows and stuff that wear the suit jacket with nothing under it.
Yeah.
You can see like
there's got to be some tape to like
something. I would hope. Yeah. I'd be nervous wreck. I'd be sweating it off. I'd be so nervous.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then if you ever play volleyball, because we used to play on a rec league last year, when there's 6 of us on a court. So then I'm like, you've got 2 people out here covering this whole thing. And I'm usually like, yeah, it's so fun to watch. It's just fun to watch peak athleticism. So those are the 3 that I for sure never miss. What are you guys always watching?
I could watch. That's what I love about the Olympics too. I mean, I obviously love sports, but I could literally watch the ping pong and think it's fascinating because it's just, again, you are the best of the best in the whole world in theory.
Yep.
But yeah, so obviously the women's gymnastics can't miss. That final night that they do, it is, so I can't breathe. I'm like, I
feel pressure on me. I can't even fathom the pressure that they have on themselves.
Listen, the fact that you can just like launch yourself in the air.
Yeah.
Do all manner of things or like sling yourself like a monkey from bar to bar. I can't even.
No. And they do it with what looks like such ease. Like, this is just as normal as walking. Okay.
Listen, the other day, Judd got a jump rope and he wasn't doing it right. And so I was like, well, let me show you.
No.
I couldn't do it. I don't even know what I was. The whole thing was absurd.
I wish Aaron had videoed that.
Oh, he got up and said, do you think if he was trying to, he said, do you think if I do this, I'll bust through the floor? I said, there's a chance. Yeah, let's not.
The picture in my mind of how this went down is probably on par.
Listen, it's, so he's still doing it, cockamamie, but nobody here's fixing it.
Okay.
So that's happening. So yeah, gymnastics. I went with swimming. I don't know, like,
oh, that's a good one.
I don't know what to call it, but here's some of the things I love. The is it a relay? Like
The relays
for the guys. That one with Phelps, they came from behind. That whole thing.
Good.
And then anything that Katie Ledecky is doing in a swimming pool.
Yeah,
please.
That's on it.
Incredible. And then, your favorite sport. I never miss the finals as long as the U.S. is in it. Men's basketball.
Okay. I actually don't think I've ever watched basketball in the Olympics. Maybe this year I'll tune in. I'm becoming an NBA expert, so who knows?
Note for the audio, I shake my head in shame. But yeah, so those are good ones. We can't wait. I do have a question for you that I thought of today.
Okay.
2028 is in LA. I mean, obviously we're going to try to go as commentators, but something like that.
Obviously.
Who would you pick to light the torch?
In 2028?
In LA. Yeah.
I feel like you got to go Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right?
What the heck? I mean, I guess. Not even really an American. I went Michael Phelps. But okay.
He's the governor.
Well, yeah, but like.
He's like a big celebrity. I feel like you got to get a name in there, and then it matters. You got to pick somebody
Phelps
that
not a name? I feel like it needs to be.
Well, yeah, but don't you have a ton of people? Michael Phelps can be there too.
Oh, mercy. Well, I sprung that one on.
Okay, judgmental. Who are you putting?
Michael Phelps or Michael Jordan.
Okay. Don't they actually have like 75 people that like run?
Well, I mean, you got to carry it. Like, yeah, somebody, that thing's going to go across the country and everybody does their little part. But it's like the last person that like puts it in the cauldron.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine with your choice. I just also
I'm not okay with yours, but okay. Anyway. Let's talk a little bit about Paris. There's some interesting things happening. First of all, I must say, the beach volleyball happening at the foot of the Eiffel Tower.
Can
you imagine if it's like getting dark and it's only like the lights of the Eiffel Tower and then the lights on the volleyball pit?
Stunning.
What a moment. Like, good Lord.
How cool is that?
I am a little concerned about the people swimming in the Seine.
Scene?
I don't know. The body of water in Paris.
We're not Parisian. Listen, I know we come off as very classy.
Yeah, we clearly know a lot about other places. Right. But, I don't know how I feel about that.
So they're doing, what is it? Triathlon and marathon swimming are both taking place in the Seine River. So you've got two events where you're not like outside of a structure. It's just your body in this water.
Yeah.
So apparently this, like, they have not encouraged swimming in this since like 1928 or 38. I can't remember what I wrote.
Okay.
Because of how disgusting the water is.
The sludge.
So they have spent tons of money. It said 1.4 billion pounds, which then I Googled to calculate because math. That equals 1.8 million US dollars that they have spent to try and clean this. And the levels last they checked were at an acceptable level of bacteria. Do we want to get our bodies in acceptable levels?
Have you been to Paris?
No. I don't have a passport, Mandy.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know if maybe...
I've been to Paris, Missouri. That's where I got married.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. I didn't know if maybe you had one when you were younger or something. Okay, here's the thing. I would think it was going to cost more than that because all I can remember about it is it's as green as bulk. Like it is.
Well, and apparently people have been defecating in it to like.
Because in Paris, they just do that. People romanticize Paris. And I apologize if you're in France because I've looked at our numbers. Apparently some of you are. I don't know what you're doing here.
Please give us info on this though.
Yeah, because first of all, why? They do. They just whip it out and urinate on the streets in Paris. Like it is nothing to see that happening there. Yeah, they just take a dump in the river. Yeah, I just can't even.
It's crazy. But the mayor, this week or end of last week, she did swim in it to like prove that everything is right. And she called it and said that the water was just wonderful. Well, I feel like you have to say that.
Has anybody checked in this week to see if she has an amoeba?
Listen, that's what I want to know. Like, are you sick this week?
Yeah. They're like, well, she's been out of the public eye all week.
Do you have pink eye?
Yeah.
Listen.
Strep throat?
Yeah. No.
Nope. No, thank you. The other thing that I have to say a big no thank you to in Paris, and they do this at every Olympics, they do something weird in the housing. First of all, they make them sleep on like these no sex beds, allegedly, that are like cardboard-esque.
I think that they have to do that for like financial reasons. Can you imagine getting like 14,000 beds and paying for that?
Listen, it's just weird. But the fact that they don't have air conditioner, I'm sorry, folks, I'm out.
Okay, so they've lifted the no sex policy. That was apparently only in place at the last one because of COVID. So this year they are supplying 300,000 condoms.
Okay.
In the Olympic Village for the athletes. So at least we're
safe. Sex. Was Olivia Rodrigo there handing it out?
Probably. Listen, that would have been fantastic. But here's my thing. First off, we're on cardboard beds. Second off, there is no air conditioning and I am hot.
No, thank you.
Do not touch me. Mm-mm. Get away.
I'm not holding your hand. They're probably clammy. Clammy.
No.
I just think it's so weird. Like, these are the world's biggest athletes and biggest names. Like, we're talking LeBron James is sitting in a village with no air conditioner on cardboard.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, and apparently they had told him, like, because this was for what was it, cost effective, but also being environmentally friendly. And so they had told people don't bring fans to like plug in and use all that electricity. And so clearly there's a lot of American athletes that are already saying we're absolutely bringing fans.
Yeah.
I mean, you're at peak physical fitness and you're about to compete in the event that you've been training for your entire life. And if you don't get a good night's rest, that can hinder your productivity out there. What are we doing, folks?
Listen,
is air conditioning that expensive?
In the
I feel like we could just picked a different place than the Seine River and put that money into AC.
Listen, in the words of Mark Cuban, for these reasons, I'm out. Like, it ain't happening.
Listen,
there's other reasons that I'm not going to compete. There's a few other reasons, but I mean, that's the top. Just not that.
Yeah, I'm out on that.
Yeah. So we'll have one more episode that we record, but will not come out until after the Olympics start. So there's going to be a lot of deep dives, a lot of content.
Can't
wait. Okay, we're going to do a couple of audience questions. Again, we're going to have a big episode coming out with a buttload more that just keep coming in. I told Becca, I was like, I'm just going to put them all here, and what we don't get to, we'll move to August.
Yep.
Because there's so many, and it's amazing. But for this show, we've got one from Kelly who asked, I missed the episode where Becca says she doesn't like the surprise songs. Thank you for listening, and it is weird.
Thank you.
But if you had both had to pick, what surprise songs would you want on the Eras Tour? And do you like the mashups or prefer just an entire song instead? I think we have answered this before, but I couldn't tell you what our answers were, and I'm sure they've changed. So
I didn't answer it. It was a question before, and I refused to answer.
Oh, I was like, are you not answering again? Okay, I do remember that.
This time. So I don't mind here's the thing.
She does.
They're just not my favorite parts of the tour. She's fantastic at the songs. The songs are still great. It's just not my favorite part, so I'm not going to watch it typically. But
I always tell her the second they happen, I text her what has happened.
You do. And if it's a song that I'm like, oh, I actually like that one, I will go find the recording and I will watch it.
I don't care if he doesn't care.
That's fair. And I appreciate that. I don't mind the mashups, but here's the thing. Because I didn't really get into her songs a ton until later albums, there's a lot of times she mashes up songs and she mashes them so well that I don't know they're two different songs or three sometimes.
Well, I'll be honest, yesterday when she started Superstar, I had never heard the song. And I was like, is she covering somebody else's music?
Right?
Nope.
There have been a few that have popped up. Like sometimes I'll just put my Amazon Music on and just repeat Taylor Swift songs. And there have been one or two that have come up that I'm like, I've literally never heard this song before.
Yeah, that was
brand new information here. So yes, but I would love to hear her do. My two favorites are Eyes Open and Paper Rings. So if she ever wants to do those on tour, I don't know if it has any meaning to her or if somebody's going to Easter egg something out of it. But just if she cared what I wanted, just do those.
Well, I am proud of you for answering. So thank you, Kelly, for asking. As for my opinion of the mashups, yes, I do actually like them. I don't feel slighted that I didn't get mashups at my first 2 shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like them because in typical fashion, and we've talked about this on here before, is she telling a story? What does it all mean? I think because so many recently have been so intentional, like the Travis ones from London. Where were we? Amsterdam? Whenever she did, wherever we were, when she did Mary's song and all of that. Like, they are obviously all very purposeful, which clearly it's Taylor, so of course they are. So I love it even more because then I can sit and wonder in my brain, what are we doing here? I'm not like adding up the syllables or anything like all these other doodles, but if I could have my like choice, and I know I didn't say this before, but I would like her to mash up Clean and Safe and Sound. Because those are my 2 that are like with my anxiety journey. And so I would love to have it together. I don't know that she could make it work, but they don't really like sound.
Listen, she's here for a challenge probably. So
she can call me if she needs some help. All right. From Sarah, yay for the Olympics segment. We agree. The end of this question made me laugh. Who are your top 5 gymnasts all time? Please don't say Michaela Skinner. Listen, Sarah,
you guarantee we weren't going to.
She wasn't on my top 20, but go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear yours, Becca.
So the first Olympics that I really remember watching was the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. Yep. That was really the first one that I remember. And so I specifically remember Carrie Strug, Dominique Mucciano, Dominique Dawes. So those were my core favorites that really kind of got me into the sport and watching it. Mm-hmm. Dominique Mucciano had put out like a biography at one point during that time. So I bought that. Like, I was all in on it. Mm-hmm. So they're my favorites. I love watching Shawn Johnson East. She was fantastic when she was doing the Olympics. And then Simone Biles, I think, has to be on everybody's list. I mean, she's just the greatest to ever do it. So,
yeah. I have Simone. I had Nastia Lukin.
She was my honorable mention.
Okay, good. Yeah. I had Dominique as well, and I had Shawn Johnson. And then I went Allie Reisman. I don't know how you say it.
Okay. Yeah.
And then old school, I was like, you got to remember Carrie Strug and, oh my gosh, Mary Lou Retton. You have to remember them.
True.
But I think
it is so funny though to go back and watch like the Mary Lou Retton days and even before hers. Their hair, their haircuts, and also what they were doing on floor routines and what their vaults look like, and then you go to current day. It's just wild the jump that sport has made.
Yeah.
These are good.
Question. Yeah, Michaela was nowhere in my world. From Rachel, I'm new to the show, so I'm playing catch up. Welcome.
We love that.
She said. Apparently, Bo, my dog, has some thoughts. She said, love it so far. Thank you. She said, do you think there is any chance for reconciliation? Bo. All right. Oh, Ma.
Oh, he really has opinions today.
Okay, I'm going to hurry and read it so then you can answer. Do you think there is any chance for reconciliation in the royal family with Prince William, Kate, Prince Harry, and Meghan?
Which we really had not talked about the royal family in a while. Because not a ton of new stuff has come out. And we are not Harry and Meghan fans. I have one friend that she literally is just a knowledge book of all things royal. She can tell you what anything means. She can go back and like all of it. Uh-huh. She thoroughly believes that there's a chance that they'll reconcile. I just don't. I think they've done too much damage in the relationship. When you've gone on and you've written books that have given every kind of personal detail, you've gone on and done every single, entertainment show where you can give an interview. You've done Netflix specials where you're telling your personal things. I don't know that there's ever going to be a way to come back from that where the royal family would trust you to ever have a conversation. Because even like, when Catherine was sick and maybe Harry called her, that got put into the news. Like, you leaked that to try and get people to be like, oh, he still cares about his family. Why can't it be a personal moment and a private? So I just don't think that there would ever be a chance, because that's a family that just can't chance somebody leaking just any private conversation. They deserve to have somewhat of a private life. And I think that Harry and Meghan have just truly showed their true colors in that. And while I do think that maybe they regret some of that, I don't think that they would ever stop.
Yeah, the only way I think it's even remotely possible would be if Meghan and Harry divorced. I think that is the only way. I don't think there's any world in which Kate allows Meghan back into their world.
No.
And nor should she after the shenanigans that woman has pulled.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance, depending on like what Harry would do with it and if he was willing to grovel. And honestly, between he and William, he's the only one I could see being willing to grovel. I don't see William doing that. No. Nor should he have to. But if Harry would be willing to grovel, divorced, I want my kids to know y'all, that kind of thing, I could maybe see it. I think it would have to be Kate that pushes the agenda to make it happen.
Right.
And I think, and I hate to say this, but I think Charles would have to be dead.
I kind of go back and forth. I think Charles being older, I think he does want that relationship. So I think he would be easier to persuade.
Well, and I think he misses the fact that he literally doesn't have a relationship with those two grandchildren. And I do think about the fact that and she didn't get ostracized to this extent, and she didn't do to this extent, but they have welcomed Sarah Ferguson back. Like, I mean, she comes to the family stuff now. So
right.
I don't know.
She was always there. She just didn't come to the events, but now she is coming to the events. I think at the end of the day, what it probably boils down to, in my opinion, is I think that Meghan does not think she has done anything wrong. And she still thinks that they are the ones at fault here. And I think because of that, there's never going to be any kind of coming together or mutual ground that they can get to.
Yeah. But we do love to talk about the royal family. So any questions you have, we don't know anything, but we love to talk about it.
But we always have an opinion and a thought.
Yeah, always. Last one from Casey, and this is applicable because this week was SEC Media Days. As SEC football fans, how do you feel about the union with Texas and Oklahoma now?
Listen, first off, I'm just morally opposed to anything Texan, Longhorns. We don't condone any of that. But I think overall, it just feels like everybody's joining the SEC and everybody's jumping from this conference to that conference. And it's too much. At some point, everybody's going to be in the SEC, and then that's the only conference there is.
We've talked before on here about my feelings about everybody switching conferences and the transfer portal, NIL. I can't with everything. I saw where the commissioner said that we are not targeting any other teams right now. I took that to mean, I guess we did target Texas and Oklahoma. I thought they came to us. I don't know. I've seen news that Clemson and is it Clemson and Florida State are looking at the Big 12? Is that what it was? Clemson is the one team that I have always wanted to be in the SEC and have always thought it made the most sense.
I could see them in the SEC.
But here we are. I, too, am morally opposed to anything Texas. I can't stand anything about the Longhorns. I think it's all deplorable. So whatever. It's kind of how I feel about it. It's just, I don't mind the Oklahoma thing, but I am very geographical in my mind about the conferences. And I've ranted about this before on here, but that is not a Southern state. I don't consider Texas a Southern state. I also had very strong feelings about Missouri that y'all didn't belong here either. So,
as a Missouri fan as well, we also did not believe we belonged there.
Now y'all have shown up. I'm not gonna. Y'all have done
a good job,
but you're not an SEC team. It's weird.
No.
So it is whatever at this point. I hope we're done. My God, it's ridiculous at this point.
Yeah. We got to put some kind of parameters and guidelines in.
And listen, as an Arkansas fan, how many more? Lord, are there any teams left that we could beat? Come soon, Lord. Is all I can say. That's all I can say.
It's a tough time to be an Arkansas fan.
Bless us all. All right, let's talk about our WhyFactor. Round out the show. Tell me what you're not loving.
So what I'm not loving is really. So I always watch all the stories on like Instagram and stuff. I cannot stand the time of year when it is Nordstrom sale time. Listen to me. No one is shopping the Nordstrom sale. No one is. The only people that are shopping it are the content creators on these social media platforms.
Who are paid to do it. Thank you.
Yeah. No one's shopping that sale because it's not a sale. You guys.
No.
So please stop filling up my feed and wasting your time making all those. And the slides are really pretty. All the links and everything they've done. Really, really seeing it.
Have you seen, just in the past 24 hours, I've seen a handful of these influencers coming on that they've all made their big purchase, when they walk us through their cart, and their orders are all getting canceled.
Oh, I have not.
There's been a slew. Something is in the water. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. But, so that's just kind of my annoyance for the week. What are you not loving?
Just note for the audio, I believe it was Monday or Sunday, I told Becca, well, it's early in the week and I already have multiples for each category. So yes. I have limited myself. I am unfortunately going to have 2 of each.
Okay, that's fine.
Number 1, I almost spoiled this one earlier in the episode. I am really not here for the people on social media who are criticizing Donna Kelsey for being in the new Chiefs Hallmark movie.
Get out of here with that, folks.
You're stupid. And I feel like that should be what I call the WhyFactor.
Hallmark.
Like, I feel like I should call the WhyFactor segment Mandy calling people stupid, because you are. Like, these people that are like, oh, they're such attention whores. Not Donna Kelsey? Like,
right.
You could maybe argue that about Travis, but not a single one of the rest of that family. Like, y'all are, anyway, I could go on for days. My second one, though, is something that I shared with you and Laura this week, or maybe last week. The fact that we have to have 6 streaming networks and spend $670 without tax to see all the NFL games this season. And again, as I told both of you, I don't want to see every single game.
Right.
But a big majority I do, and I still would need all 6 for that.
Yeah. It's too much. The amount of times I have to Google what game is on and then what channel it's going to be on or what stream. It's too
and inevitably, what's going to happen is there's going to be a primetime game that I've waited all week to see. I'm going to go to flip it on and realize, my God, I've got to go get another subscription that I've missed, or my credit card has changed.
And then we're in a bad mood about it.
Quarter. Yep. But your sister made a good point when she said, what is the NFL network showing if it's not all the games?
Yeah.
What are you people doing?
There was one of the Chiefs games last year was only airing on something that we didn't have.
Yes.
I thought we had every streamer known to man.
We had to go get it.
So you could watch it on the NFL channel, which we have, but it would jump for like 5 seconds of the Chiefs game and then jump to another game for 5. What are we doing? You can't watch a football game like that. So
it's not right.
Together, folks.
Yeah, and Goodell is not the person to solve it because he is all about the Benjamins. So
all about it. Okay. That's good.
So I am stunned. Something that just happened. I don't know if you can see for the audio. Travis Kelsey is at night 2.
Okay.
In Gelsenkirchen. And so is Aaron Rodgers.
If you've got your own plane to just go around, why not?
Sabrina Carpenter's there. Apparently it's epic. Okay.
Okay.
I just want to say that I'm going to add this to the things I'm liking right now because there's some really stupid people on Twitter who are posting fake things about breakups, about couples you don't even know. Y'all cannot come for this dude. Like, they have shown up for each other in every way humanly possible.
Yep.
Anyway, Becca, what are you liking right now?
So what I'm liking right now is I did start The Receiver on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah.
It's been so good. I loved Quarterback last year when they did it.
So good.
I was really hoping for another quarterback this year just because those are the big names that you know.
Yeah.
I have really enjoyed that they've done Receiver because even though they've picked some of the bigger names, they play for teams that I don't truly follow.
Yeah.
So I didn't know a ton about them. So I've really enjoyed getting to kind of see them and see their dynamics on their own teams and just learn about them in their own sport. But I'm also learning that I'm not a huge Davante Adams fan, and I thought I was, but I am not. So
I always thought I always wondered if I was going to have beef with him because of how close he is and claims to be with Aaron Rodgers. And so I was like, oh, I don't trust you. And I feel like I'm right.
I think that you are very accurate in that. Yeah. So it's just been really fun. It's fun always to see like their family dynamics as well and kind of how that plays into it. So it's been really good. I definitely recommend it if anybody hadn't started it yet.
Let me ask you this quickly. Has it changed your opinion at all of Claire Kittle?
Yes.
In a good way?
No.
Okay.
No.
We don't have to go further if we don't want to.
Well, and I also saw George Kittle was on a podcast. I saw a clip of it on TikTok. I don't remember what podcast he was on. But originally when they had approached him to do Receiver on Netflix, his immediate answer was absolutely not. I'm not doing that. It's too much of a distraction or whatever. And when he went to Claire, she was like, absolutely, you're doing that. That's fantastic. And her reasoning was because she liked how it portrayed Patrick and Brittany's relationship in Quarterback. So she wanted her relationship. I was like, oh, so this is about you.
Yeah.
Got it. So,
just making sure we're on the same page about that. Yep.
We are.
Okay. So I have two. One is something we both were following last week was the American Century Celebrity Golf Tournament.
Yes.
I just told Aaron this. It is now on my bucket list to attend.
Okay.
So much so that I went and looked at hotels in Lake Tahoe for that week that they've already announced it is next week. They're not expensive.
Really?
And the tickets are $40 a day.
Can you buy them now? Like, go ahead and print?
Just saying, I'm wanting to go. If you're not familiar, though, it's a celebrity golf tournament that happens every year in Lake Tahoe. Some of the things I love about it, the long drive competition, I just love that in general with every thing. I love the karaoke contest. Obviously, Travis won, but I think it's just fun to see these people in different elements.
Yes.
I love that. I love the 17th hole, where it's kind of like their party hole. You know, they've got the basketball chute there. They have all the boats. That's my thing is I can't decide how I want to watch the tournament. It's going to depend on the day, I think. But I want to be on one of these boats that come up to the 17th hole. I think that's fun.
Okay.
And then they have a concert on, I think it's the second night. Just the whole dynamic just seems super fun and very like attainable. Like it's not one of these things that like will never, it's not like the Met Gala, you know?
Right. Or the Masters where you can't really get tickets.
Yeah, and it's like all kinds of people, right? Like it's news people, it's Jimmy Fallon, it's Travis and Jason, it's, you know, it's like all these, there's a lot of heavy comedian, heavy athlete, but like, I just think it'd be super fun.
I do too. That's a good one, yeah.
And my second one is actually ties to the question that we had about Texas and Oklahoma. And I think you're going to be stunned when I tell you what my second thing that I'm loving this week is.
Okay, what is it?
The devil himself on SEC Now, Nick Saban, at Media Days this week said, Texas ain't going to run the SEC.
You ain't wrong.
That is all I needed to hear. I have to give a shout out to Nick Saban, who we all know I can't stand. In this new role in life, I am kind of digging him.
Right? He's so enjoyable.
I actually would love for him to be on New Heights.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, that was my second one.
Okay. I like those. Those were great.
Listen, we thought we were going to shorten the episodes.
We did not.
We'll try again.
We took a lot out.
So much. We don't know what to do, people. We just have a lot to say.
Always give opinions. It's our downfall.
We will work on it. But here we are at 1 hour and 38 minutes again. And we thank you for tuning in. Follow us.
Right.
TikTok.
Thanks, guys.
Whyspace.com with a period. And keep sending your questions. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Bye, guys.